The Carroll A. Deering. In January of 1921, a five-masted schooner called the Carroll A. Deering ran aground near Cape Hatteras, North Carolina. At first, the ship appeared to have simply wrecked during the bad weather, but as rescuers climbed aboard, they realized something was terribly wrong. The crew was gone. Not a single person remained. The captain's log had disappeared, the navigation equipment was missing, and the lifeboats were all gone. Yet many personal belongings had been left behind, and food was still sitting in the galley as though the crew had expected to return. Investigators considered everything from piracy to mutiny. Some had even suspected that the crew had fallen victim to rum runners operating along the East Coast. Despite one of the largest investigations of its time, no trace of the 10 crew members was ever found. More than a century later, the Carroll A. Deering remains one of America's greatest maritime mysteries. The MV Joyita. On October 3, 1955, cargo vessel MV Joyita departed Samoa carrying 25 people. The trip should have taken less than 2 days, but the ship never arrived. 5 weeks later, a merchant vessel spotted the Joyita drifting hundreds of miles off course. It was still afloat, but everyone on board the vessel had vanished. The radios had been turned off to the international distress frequency. Medical supplies were scattered across the deck. Several life rafts were missing. The ship had taken on water, but not enough to sink. In fact, experts determined that the Joyita was nearly impossible to sink because of the cork lining that was built into its hull. So why did everyone abandon it? No bodies were ever recovered, and no confirmed distress call was ever received. And nobody knows what happened to the 25 people who disappeared aboard the Joyita. The SS Ourang Medan. The story of the SS Ourang Medan is one of the most controversial maritime mysteries ever told. Sometime during the late 1940s, nearby ships reportedly received a chilling Morse code distress message. It read, "All officers, including captain, dead, lying in chart room and bridge. Possibly whole crew dead." The final message was only 2 words: "I die." When rescuers boarded the vessel, they allegedly found the entire crew dead. Their eyes were open, their faces were frozen in expressions of terror. Moments later, smoke began rising from below deck. The rescue crew evacuated. Soon after, the Ourang Medan exploded and disappeared beneath the sea. The mystery doesn't end there. To this day, historians continue to debate whether the ship had even existed. No official registry has ever conclusively confirmed it, and some believe that the story is completely fictional. Others argue that it was indeed a real vessel whose records were simply lost. Whether fact or legend, the tale of the Ourang Medan continues to fascinate historians nearly 80 years later. The Bachimo. Built in 1914, the Bachimo spent years transporting supplies through the Arctic. In 1931, the ship became trapped in thick sea ice near Alaska. Its crew eventually abandoned it after believing that it would soon be crushed. But the ship refused to disappear. Weeks later, it was found drifting freely through the ice. Over the following decades, explorers, fishermen, and even Inuit hunters reported seeing Bachimo wandering the Arctic completely unmanned. Sometimes it appeared to be frozen in ice. Other times, it was sailing freely across open waters. Each time someone tried to recover it, the ship slipped away once more. The last widely accepted sighting occurred in 1969. Since then, despite numerous searches, the Bachimo has never been found. Its final fate remains unknown. The Mary Celeste. On December 4th, 1872, British ship De Gracia spotted another vessel drifting aimlessly in the Atlantic Ocean. That ship was the Mary Celeste. As sailors climbed aboard, they expected to find a damaged vessel. Instead, they found something far stranger. The cargo remained untouched. Food and water were still on board. The crew's personal belongings were largely undisturbed. The ship itself was still seaworthy. Yet every one of its 10 occupants had vanished. The only major item missing was the lifeboat. There were no signs of violence and no evidence of piracy. There was no indication that a struggle had even taken place. Over the years, countless theories had been proposed. A seaquake, a waterspout, alcohol fumes from the ship's cargo causing the crew to fear an explosion, mutiny, pirates, even the supernatural. None of which have ever been proven. More than 150 years later, the Mary Celeste remains the world's most famous ghost ship. A vessel found in near-perfect condition, but its crew was gone without a trace. This is truly one of history's greatest unsolved mysteries.